Awesome. So now we're on day 2 of the ultra clean workgate. So yesterday you've cleared your aura, you played around with kind of getting that. Maybe you've noticed like, hey, wait, how did my day change doing that? Now we're going to jump into your chakras, like kind of your energy centers in your body. So it's going to have a lot more kind of, I won't say it's profound change, because the aura clearing is super profound, and it really allows you to get that communication. It's more the real time. But then your chakras, it's kind of like internal in your house. So it's going to be more intimate. It's going to also be more of your spiritual progression, because it's kind of like there's like a timeline there in your auras, if that makes sense. So it's just kind of like if your house is completely trashy versus your lawn in front of your house is completely trashy. Both of them have a huge effect, but having it in your house, if you spend most of your time in your house, you know, that might be a bigger deal. So that's why we wanted to get at least the outside cleared out first. So then, because it's going to go from inside to outside. So once we get the outside moving well, we want to get the inside moving well. So we're going to go through and clean the chakras. We're also going to play with just getting reads on those too. So we're going to go on the different ones. And like I said, if you complete this, get to day 5, we're going to have something awesome on day 6. So continue with this. So let's go with the same thing with the ultra clean. So we're going to start with the root chakra. So think right down by your waist, base your spine, right? And you can just say, feel that area and say like, okay, is there something in my root chakra that needs to be cleared, right? And you just get a yes, no, right? There's something to be cleared right now. And you say, ultra clean in my highest good. And notice that sensation, right? And where it's going. You can also attach a grounding cord to your base of your spine, going down to the center of the earth, connecting the earth. And that's kind of like a direction of like, hey, all the energy, wherever it disperses off to, then eventually go down there so it gets cleaned up, right? And notice if you start, like you got a lot of things like kind of pop into your mind, that's almost like it hitting your aura that we talked about, and kind of like just showing it to you, and you just let it go. We're letting it go, because this is like the workgate is clearing out stuff that's not supposed to be there. So it's whatever not is needed. Even if it was like, you know, this reminder of love, it's like, it's okay. It's need to be let go, because there's a flood of love coming in, and that's to reconnect that. So if you're holding on to an old love, it's time to let the new love come in, right? But root chakra, that's more of a safety thing. So that's more of like your safety, your connection to being here in this 3D world. So if a safety stuff came up, that's fine. Just let that go. And now we're going to move to your sex chakra. So it's kind of like about by your belly button, navel area. So just the whole thing about that area, right? And we're just going to say, ultra clean my sex chakra in my highest good. And just let that go. Notice the feeling. It's like, okay, what happened? What happened in that area of my body, right? And then also if thoughts start popping in your mind, it's kind of like it releasing, hitting the aura and being like, pop, 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 pop. And you're like, oh, we're letting it go. We're letting it go, right? And it doesn't have to be the same as your root chakra or your, you know, your sex chakra. Either one's fine. And then we're going to think in our solar plexus. So right about underneath your ribs, right there in the center. And this is a lot we fear. So sex chakra would be like, you know, your creativity, creation, fertility, but not specifically fertility of new ideas. And then think your solar plexus. So this is where a lot of fear gets stored, right? But also a lot of will and drive. So you think right there and you say, you know, ultra clean in my highest good. And you can also do the check, okay, is there something in my solar plexus that needs to be released, right? And you might even feel something there in your solar plexus. And we're building that communication of like, can I get a read on that? Can I get a sensation, right? Like, ooh, something there. And then say ultra clean in your highest good. And we notice how the energy starts moving. And then notice that moves. Like if you felt that specific spot in your body of like, ooh, it feels like something's here, and you did the clearing and it moved, now you're starting to build that conscious awareness of like, ooh, I felt it and I removed it. And it's like, it'll build that excitement because you want to come back and do it again. Because these are going to be running for next 4 to 12 hours, because the ultra clean workgate does a lot to clear out the chakras. A lot of stuff is happening. So one, if it gets intense, we slow it down. Run at 1/2 power, one at 1/10 power, one at 1/100th power, because it's really going fast by your unconscious mind. But we just get the little taste to feel it like, okay, we're doing something. Versus like a normal clearing, that's all it is that feeling and then it goes. Versus the workgate, it's unconscious running a lot. So you might feel this throughout the day of like, wow, I'm kind of feeling stuff going on. I'm feeling stuff going on, just kicking those off, right? So now we're going to do, oops, that's my mic. So your heart chakra. So think where we're doing the breathe into. So we're saying, is there something in my heart chakra that needs to be cleared? Just let's get that feeling of that. You can get the yes, no. We're just building that connection. Don't have to do that, but it's a good practice to start doing. And we just clear and say, okay, and then say, everything in my heart chakra needs to be cleared, ultra clean in my highest good. And we just let that go and just sense it, just feel it. Notice how it felt like when we cleared for our solar plexus, how it cleans for our, or ultra cleans for our heart. And then we'll go up to our throat chakra, and heart obviously would be like love, throat. And then throat chakra, more of your speaking your will out into the world. So think of your throat and say, is there something in my throat chakra that needs to be cleared? If you get a sensation, where you get the sensation, then you say ultra clean in my high, okay, ultra clean my throat chakra in my highest good. Want to just notice that? And also you can do, like, you don't have to say ultra clean my throat chakra in my highest good, because it's all intentional. So if you just think of your throat chakra and say, okay, ultra clean in my highest good, right? So you don't have to actually say it, or you put your hand like where your sex chakra is, say, okay, sex chakra, ultra clean in my highest good, or just ultra clean in my highest good. Like you can point to the locations, like heart, ultra clean in my highest good. That's like this little quicker version of that, of kicking off the warp gate, because it's really your unconscious mind. You're just kicking it off. You're saying, okay, go and start doing the energy work super hardcore. So now we're going to move to, it's kind of like in pranic system, there's two here, but we're going to do just like as the third eye chakra, do a single, which we'll get both of them. The warp gate is going to handle multiple chakras in that area, but we can just focus here, kind of like your third eye, like a great place to pull in information or reads through, so you're not getting it implanted into the body. That's an advanced topic. Just think right here. You're going to tune up. This is all stuff explaining what you already do. So don't worry about the explanation, because you already have this on lock. We're just waking you back up to it. But think in this area, right? So like your third eye, and say like if there's third eye, is there something I need to clear, right? And if you get a read, you know, a lot of time I get a read on my face, so like kind of like that. But if there's something to clear, and say ultra clean my third eye in my highest good. Then you notice what happens. For me, that actually pulled the energy back and went down my spine. I know it's not like that's how it happens all the time. It's going to be different each time. So it's really cool to pay attention to, like, oh wow, that's how it moved. That's what's going on. And eventually you'll be able to really wire as to what's going on. But just for now, just notice that you are powerful and you're making massive change. So that's going to start happening. And then finally, we'll do a crown chakra thing, just right there on top of your head. Just say, you know, my crown chakra, is there something here that needs to be cleared, right? And this one is like a really intense chakra. And a lot of times you might not get a read on that, and that's fine. Notice that. That's because this one, there's a lot going on there. So you can just be like, okay, something here to clear. Notice you get a read or not. It's completely fine. And it's like, ultra clean my crown chakra in my highest good. So you can notice that one. And sometimes for me, that one actually shot up. But whatever happens is fine. And you just don't go through that. And that's just, and you can do that rapidly. So that was kind of like, this is where I did the whole play. But just even, you can say, all my chakras ultra clean in my highest good. And I'll give you a very basic, just like, let's get a little bit of cleaning happening in the day. If you're just super busy, do that. Or just go through them individually, just like ultra clean in my highest good. Ultra clean in my highest good. Ultra clean in my highest good. In your heart, ultra clean in my highest good. Solar plexus, ultra, I don't think you can see that. Solar plexus, ultra clean in my highest good, and go through them that way. You can go up or down. Allow yourself to intuitive, like if you get that, like, hey, I need to do my heart first, do your heart first, right? Or if like, hey, if I do it from top down, I feel better. I feel more better. Or if I do it from bottom up, I feel better. Let your intuitive guide, because you're going to start playing in that non-physical world, what works best for you. But if not, bottom up, top down, just try it, because you're clearing out the system. Because it's also going to change. Because if it's like all this gunk, right? There's a certain way that might work better, or it could just be like, just start throwing stuff out. You know, if your whole house is full of trash, you don't need to do it perfect. Just start getting the stuff in the bags and chuck it, right? But once it starts getting clean, then there's all these fine nuances that you'll get. And be like, ooh, I gotta do it this way, or I'll try this way, or I'll try these little tweaks. And trust your own guidance, because it's gonna be like your fingerprint, it's gonna be a signature of just you, your unique signature. And Source will start talking, and that, like when that starts going, oh my gosh, that is such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time, and that's coming for you. So play with this. This is, you know, like I said, it's a little longer video, but to actually do the clearings, it's super, super quick. And until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.